WulverBlade is a side-scrolling beat-em-up in the old-school vein. Think Streets of Rage but with swords instead of fists, and the wildlands of ancient Britain instead of the streets of, Rage. The setting is kind of crucial as it happens, as the game takes place during an actual period of history, with the ancient Britons trying to repel the advancing forces of Rome. The game actually serves as a minor history lesson in itself, with videos of the locales in which the levels supposedly take place, unlocking once you finish that level. The education isn't limited to these videos either, with notes found across each level also shedding light on weaponry and customs from the era. It's a really nice and unique touch. There's not many games out there that try and expand your mind a little in between bouts of gratuitous violence. And there is plenty of gratuitous violence on offer here. You play as one of 3 native warrior Britons and have to hack and slash your way across 8 levels in order to beat back the Roman armies, and those fellow Britons who have betrayed their kin. You do this predominantly with your own sword, but you can pick up a heavy weapon to supplement your own for a little extra clout. Drop weapons from foes can also be picked up and thrown, as can severed heads and limbs. Yeah, visually the game is pretty gruesome. Despite the cartoony artwork, which reminds me of the sort of history books I used to read as a kid in school, there's still tons of blood and guts. There's something slightly weird yet equally wonderful in throwing a severed head at an enemy in a game with such a vibrant and colourful art style. It's definitely not one for the kids. The excellent voice acting contains a few swears as well. But the presentation is absolutely top notch, even if loading times are a little on the lengthy side. The gameplay though is where I ran into a problem with WulverBlade. Everything controls great and combat is very satisfying when you're landing killer blows or dodging and parrying attacks. You can build up a rush gauge for a brief period of invincibility too, letting you swing your sword with reckless abandon, and you can also call in a pack of wolves once a level to take out most of the enemies on screen. Despite all this, WulverBlade is ridiculously difficult in single player. There were some levels I just straight up couldn't do without teaming up with a friend locally. The number of enemies in a wave is the same whether you're playing 1 or 2 players. The game is definitely geared towards the latter I think, but the fact there's no adjustments for single player feels like a bit of an oversight. It's also easy to find yourself surrounded and there's no easy way to get out of those situations. You do have a 360-degree attack you can execute, but that uses up some of your health. And when the game is this tough, health is an incredibly precious resource. Don't get me wrong, I love a challenge in my games, but there are times when WulverBlade feels like it crosses over from addictively challenging to just frustratingly impossible in single player. Adding a second player does make the game much easier and much more enjoyable, as you can divvy up the enemies between you. WulverBlade is a brilliant looking game, and the historical touches, fact sheets and educational videos are genuinely fascinating, and I loved learning about ancient Britain whilst I was playing. It's clearly a labour of love for the developer. It's a ton of fun to play through with a friend, and single player has great moments too, but it can also be ridiculously hard, and at times the game just stops being fun because of it. If you like your old school brawlers and you've got friends or family you can team up with, WulverBlade is definitely one that you should pick up. Just be warned that if you're flying solo, you're going to have to be a bit of a demon to get through it. It's not without its issues, but there is a lot to like here, and when everything comes together, there are some superb moments. Take everything into consideration, I give WulverBlade a Bronze Award. And for more on WulverBlade and more game reviews, stay tuned to Topic Nintendo.